Hey everybody, welcome to another Games That Infuriate Me to No End. This is Metal Gear Survive, the bizarre hybrid of stealth action-ish stuff from Metal Gear Solid 5 with the survival crafting genre. It is a weird choice, and you're probably already screaming at the screen, DW, why in the hell did you bother playing this? You knew it was probably gonna be crap. Well, yeah, I did know it was probably going to be crap, but I knew also that there was a story to it, even though people constantly say there isn't one, because the game is separated into chapters, and it does have cutscenes and dialogue and such, so I figured, you know what, I'll give it a try, and if I can get all the way through it, then I'll do a review. Obviously, given that this is not a review, and is rather a Games That Infuriate Me to No End, I didn't manage to finish this game. In fact, I played it for about 4 hours and then gave up on it entirely because I just couldn't take any more of its shit. And I mean, sure, I knew it was going to be a bit of a mess, but I wasn't expecting the first roughly 30 minutes of the game being almost nothing but extremely boring cutscenes and barely interactive sequences. And you know what the really funny part about this is? Hideo Kojima is really not a very good writer. A lot of people seem to think he is, but he really isn't. But the writing in Metal Gear Survive makes him look like fucking Shakespeare. You see, after Mother Base was destroyed, apparently there was some wormhole that opened up and you were partially pulled into it, losing your arm in the process when the wormhole ended up closing, and then several months later you end up getting pulled into a mission to go through a wormhole into the realm of Dite, which is where the other wormhole led, and you're chosen specifically because you were infected by some sort of parasite from the world of Dite, which restored your arm, but then it could turn you into a zombie, and you know what? It doesn't matter. Point is, you are now in an alternate dimension, there's zombies everywhere, you've got to find a way to survive, and on top of that, you'll end up running into this gigantic monster eventually that is called the Lord of Dust. And then you have to find a way to take it down. And that's the entire story. This story is accompanied by incredibly inane dialogue that is completely devoid of anything interesting or anything emotional. I mean, most of the time, the main thing that's going to be conversing to you is an AI which has no personality. It does, however, have an extremely annoying voice that will constantly repeat the same bullshit to you over and over again. I am detecting that you are hungry. Keep an eye on your fluid intake. You are running low on oxygen. You can replenish it using Kuban energy. Use your iDroid for that. And by the time I had given up on the game and said, fuck this shit, I'm out, I'd really only interacted with 4 characters. The AI, named Virgil, this other soldier that you run into almost immediately named Reeve, who has about the personality of a potato, and then most recently I had run into a nurse named Miranda, and she's about as generic as a nurse character gets, down to the uniform and everything. And then of course there's your mission handler, named Good Luck, because of course he has to have a stupid name like that. They're doing Metal Gear, which means that they're basing this off of Hideo Kojima's writing, and he names his characters stuff that's really stupid! And of course, because he's the mysterious mission handler, he has to be extremely cryptic about everything and not give you all the details and just give you the absolute bare minimum you need to keep going. Because, you know, God forbid you have a solid, grounded story that actually leads you along instead of just some vague goal nonsense where you're just expected to wander around aimlessly and find random bits of information until you figure the shit out. But you know what? Maybe I'm being too hard on Good Luck and Virgil for not explaining things really well to you. Because honestly, I wouldn't want to waste my breath on somebody as brain-dead stupid as the player character either. And I'm only saying that because you don't unlock the ability to boil water to make sure you have clean water until Chapter 7. Because that's when you unlock the specific camp upgrade that lets you make a campfire with a hanging pot. Which is apparently necessary. Because all this random scrap metal laying around that's in the shape of pots and pans and such just couldn't possibly work. No, no, no. Never mind that long before you are able to make this camp upgrade, that you are somehow able to produce industrially designed firearms like the Burkov pistol, which is basically this game's equivalent of a Makarov pistol, out of complete junk, just scrap metal. You mean to tell me that the player character can do that, but they can't just take some scrap metal that looks kinda like a pan or a pot and just stick it on a campfire and call it a day? The fuck kind of sense does that make? I guess it's no wonder that Virgil never shuts up about how your stamina's low, your life is low, you need to drink more water, you need to eat something. Because apparently, your character is so stupid that if they weren't constantly told these things, they would just completely forget about all of their bodily needs. And you know what the really funny part about all this is? By the time I decided to stop playing the game, it was still going through all the tutorials. In many cases, for things that I had already been doing, like the way you have to open containers, or you have to gradually open them as opposed to just picking the lock on them and opening them like any sane person would, because you're trying not to alert the zombies. It gets immensely frustrating going through sequences where you've been doing something for a while and then they just decide this is the time they're gonna throw the actual tutorial for it at you, even though you don't actually need the tutorial. Then when something comes along that might actually need a bit more explanation, like the crew management system, it just gives you a single page of very vague instructions that says, yeah, this is just a screen where you do this thing. That's all you need. No, I need to know exactly what's going to happen with this. I need to know what kind of upgrade path I'm going to be seeing from this. I need to know why it is that I am actually messing with this mechanic in the first place. Not just, by the way, there's a crew management system. Have fun. So the game over-explains things that it doesn't need to explain really at all, it under-explains things that it should explain more, and then, on top of all of this, once you finally get past all of that bullshit, you find that there is not a single gameplay mechanic that is not designed to waste your time. Want to be stealthy? Well, you have to use the very slow creeping walk, which takes forever to get behind enemies, and even if you do manage to take out an enemy using a stealth takedown, guess what? Enemies around you are probably going to notice you, so stealth is kind of pointless. Then you've got the combat itself, which is a mind-numbingly tedious slog of either use a spear and poke zombies in the head region, because that does extra damage, or use some other melee weapon and just swing it around until stuff falls over. Sure, you eventually gain access to ranged weapons, and by the time I stopped playing, I had access to 3 of them. The Burkov pistol, a 12-gauge sawed-off double-barrel shotgun, and a hunting bow. And all of them required me to craft ammo because I couldn't find any ammo for them except in the crates that I found the recipes to craft the weapons in. And the guns ended up being an absolute last resort because they're very loud, which means they alert all the zombies in the area to your position, they come running at you, and then you just don't have enough ammunition to deal with them. And unless you are constantly hitting the weak points, which is usually the head, but depending on the enemy you're fighting it might be some other specific spot, usually somewhere on their back, the enemies can be extremely damage spongy, and they do a ton of damage when they hit you, meaning that you cannot get in prolonged melee engagements with them. This results in you basically having to exploit the game's incredibly stupid AI, because the zombies can't really figure out how to go around fences. So you build a fence between you and the enemy, and they'll just start bumbling into the fence, and you can stick your spear through the fence and poke them in the head repeatedly, or of course you can shoot through the fence too. And if they manage to climb over the fence, which is something they can do after a while, or they manage to break down the fence by just simply using enough damage on it to do that, then the chances are you're probably just going to wait until they bunch up, throw a few Molotovs into the group, and wait until they all burn. Just make sure they don't get anywhere near you, otherwise they'll set you ablaze as well, and then you'll just be running around like an idiot until eventually your health bottoms out. Oh, and by the way, whenever you die in this game, you respawn at the base, and any of the progress you made since the last save, which is the last time you spawned at the base, is completely lost. So what's that? You were going through a long mission and you managed to get the objective for it and you were almost on the way out, but then a zombie got a lucky hit in and managed to take you down? Well, too bad, you gotta start the entire thing over again. And by start the entire thing over again, I don't mean you start at the beginning of that level. Oh, no. You start at the base, and you have to run back to wherever that objective is, and then go through the mission objective, and then get out of the area, and make it back to the base again. They do eventually give you access to fast travel points, but you have to activate the fast travel point, which requires a base defense section where you have to spend a couple of minutes waiting until zombie hordes arrive, fight them off, and then wait until the timer runs out before you can actually use the fast travel point. Oh, and the entire time this is going, they add another meter that you have to keep track of, because most of the mission objectives are going to take place in the dust cloud or fog or whatever the hell they refer to it. I can't remember what the specific term for it is in the game. It's just this big wall of dust that you require a specific upgrade to even be able to traverse in, because if you breathe in the dust, apparently you die or some stupid shit like that. Again, I can't remember what the exact terminology they used for it was. So to even be able to go into most of the missions, you have to go find a crafting recipe, and you gotta go find some crafting materials, and you gotta craft yourself an air tank that you can use and traverse the dust cloud with. And all the while you're running around in the dust area, that meter of oxygen is ticking down, which you can replenish it by using Kuban energy, which is the game's effective currency for everything from crafting items to building base structures to upgrading your character. And every time you try to replenish your oxygen, the price of the replenishment goes up, and it only replenishes it by about 20%. Now sure, the oxygen tank refills once you're out of the dust cloud and can make it back to the base, but that makes going into the dust cloud and trying to complete objectives an annoying chore. And that's made even worse by the fact that you can place markers on the map, but once you're in the dust cloud, then it interferes with the ability to see those markers, so you can't really tell where you're going. And most of the stuff in this map looks pretty much the same, so good luck going off of landmarks. Occasionally you can find vehicles in the dust cloud, but they're unreliable and will eventually break down, and not only that, but they're really loud, so they alert basically every single zombie in a roughly 90-mile radius to your position, so they're kind of useless. Oh, and in case you somehow forgot during all of this, this is one of those crafting survival kind of games too, so you basically have to grab anything that isn't nailed down in the game world to use as resources to craft items or base structures out of. And that of course makes the death and save system in the game all the more irritating, because if you lose the progress, well, you've lost all of the crafting materials that you found too. So if you found some good crafting materials that you really needed, then you gotta go find them all over again. Oh, and keep in mind, interacting with basically anything in this game is quite annoying, because it's the press and hold system, not just you press a button and the thing happens. Oh, and because this is a Japanese game that was designed for consoles and not PC, the interface doesn't work properly, so it's basically all keyboard commands in the inventory and the menus and such, which gets quite annoying, and several of the actual keybinds are really weird, so you'll end up with things like spacebar being your action button, when in almost every single other game it's either going to be E or F. And half the controls have multiple functions bound to the same key, so you might be trying to interact with something only to be diving off somewhere else when you didn't mean to, or you might be trying to crouch but you end up going prone because you held the key too long, or any number of other annoying things that could have easily been fixed if they just had proper keybind implementation. And all of that combined was more than enough to make me say, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out. But to add insult to injury, they give you one save slot, the entire game is autosaves, there is no ability to manually save whatsoever, it has always online DRM, so you have to be connected to the server to be able to play the damn thing, even if you're playing it in single player, and if you want an additional save slot, they charge you $10 US for it. But of course, it's in a premium currency that you can only use in Metal Gear Survive, and that premium currency only comes in a weird rate where you can't buy the exact amount that you want to be able to buy the save slot, or whatever other random crap you can buy with that stuff. I don't know, I don't fucking care. I am well past the point where I am even willing to give the game the time of day. I uninstalled it, I am never going to play this piece of shit again, and I am honestly tempted to never even look at another Metal Gear game again. That is how bad Metal Gear Survive is. It makes the entire series worse by simply existing. It is rare that you will run across a game like that. Now, I will admit that I have never been all that much of a fan of the Metal Gear series. I like Metal Gear Solid 1, and I like Metal Gear Solid 3, and the rest of them I'm mostly indifferent towards. But even at their absolute worst, all of the other Metal Gear games are infinitely superior to Metal Gear Survive. And it was during the process of recording this video that I came to an absolutely horrifying realization, which is that there are people out there for whom Metal Gear Survive is the first Metal Gear game they've played. And I can't help but wonder how many potential new fans of the series were turned completely off to it just because Survive is as terrible as it is. I just hope it wasn't that many. I just hope there were relatively few people who went into Metal Gear Survive as their first Metal Gear game. Because the experience of Metal Gear Survive is so terrible that if it was all you knew about the Metal Gear series, I wouldn't blame you for wanting the entire series erased from existence. Because sure, the other games have their problems, but you can usually muddle through those issues to get to the good stuff in them. You can't do that with Metal Gear Survive because there's nothing good in there at all. There's not even anything even passable in there. So if you, for some utterly baffling reason, were still on the fence about Metal Gear Survive, whether you wanted to pick it up or not, just do yourself a favor and avoid it like the plague, because there is absolutely nothing fun to get out of it. You can't even really have fun with it in co-op. That's how bad it is. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I need to go find some reasons to not think video games were a mistake. Thanks for watching.